26 by Rachel Eliza Griffiths. Your names toil in my dreams. I pick up tinsel in the street. A nameless god streaks my hand with blood. I look at the lighted trees and windows, and the spindles of pine tremble in warm rooms. The flesh of home is silent. How quiet the bells of heaven must be, cold with stars who cannot rhyme their brilliance to our weapons. What rouses our lives each moment? Nothing but life dares die. My memory, another obituary. My memory is a cross face down, a whistle in high grass. A shadow pouring down the sill of calamity. Your names wake me in the nearly dark hour. The candles in our windows flicker where your faces peer in. Ask us questions light cannot answer.
Good evening, Earthlings. Welcome to City Verses presents Jazz and Poetry Virtual Performance, The Gathering. The gibbous is high in the sky tonight, and we will reflect the rest of the sun's light right back at you. We are so wildly grateful to have the opportunity to share this space with you. My name is Attorious Renee Augustine. I am a Rutgers University Newark MFA candidate and City Verses artist in residence. This evening, the band, Evan, and I are elated to share these sensations of joy and mourning, but never loneliness. Litany by Mahogany L. Brown, epigraph. I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all the chains holding me. Nina Simone. Today, I am a Black woman in America, and I am singing a melody-ridden lullaby. It sounds like the gentrification of a Brooklyn stew. The rent raised 3 times my wages. The bodega and laundromat burned down on the corner. The people on the corner, each lock and key, their chromosomes a note of ash and inquiry on their tongues. Today, I am a Black woman in a hopeless state. I will apply for financial aid and food stamps with the same mouth I spit poems from. I will ask the angels of a creative God to lessen the blows, and I will beg for forgiveness when I curse the rising sun. Today I am a Black woman in a body of coal. I am always burning and no one knows my name. I am a nameless fury. I am a blues scratched from the throat of Miss Nina. I am always angry. I am always a bumble hive of hello. I love like this too loudly. My neighbors think I am an unforgiving bitter. Sometimes I think my neighbors are right. Most times I think my neighbors are nosy. Today, I am a cold country, a storm brewing, a heat wave of a woman wearing red pumps to the funeral of my ex-lovers. Today, I am a woman, a brown and black and brew woman. Dreaming of freedom, today I am a mother, and my country is burning, and I forget how to flee such flamboyant background. I am too in awe of how beautiful I look on fire.
Ars Poetica number 100, I Believe, by Elizabeth Alexander. Poetry, I tell my students, is idiosyncratic. Poetry is where we are ourselves. Though Sterling Brown said, every eye is the dramatic eye, digging in the clam flats for the shell that snaps, emptying the proverbial pocketbook. Poetry is what you find in the dirt, in the corner, over here on the bus. God in the details. Poetry, and now I hear my voice rising, is not all love, love, love. And I'm sorry the dog died. Poetry. Here I hear myself loudest is the human voice. And are we not of interest to one another?
Ode to Gossips by Safia Ahila. I was mothered by lonely women, some of them wives, some of them with plumes of smoke for husbands, all lonely. Smelling of onions and milk, all mothers, some of them to children, some to old names, phantom girls acting out a life, only half a life of blue. Instead, copper kitchenware, bangles pushed up the arm, fingernails rusted with henna, kneading raw meat with salt, with coriander, sweating upper lip in the steam, weak tea, hair unwound against the nape, my deities, each one sandal slapping against stone heel, sandalwood and out, bright chiffon spun about each head, coffee and the dowry china, butter biscuit on a painted plate, crumbs suspended in eggshell demi-tasse, and they begin. I heard, people are saying, I saw with my own eyes. Daughter, a scandal. She was wearing and not wearing. Can you imagine? A shame. A shame.
Underbelly by Nicole Homer. Would-be love, do not think of me as a whetstone until you hear the whole story. In it, I am not the hero, but I'm not the villain either. So let's say, in the story, I was human and made of human things. Fear and hands, underbelly and blade.
Let me say it plain. I loved someone, and I failed at it. Let me say it another way. I like to call myself wound, but I will answer to knife.
Sometimes I think we have the same name, not quite love. I want to be soft. To say here is my underbelly and I want you to hold the knife, but I don't know what I want you to do. Plunge or mercy.
I deserve both. I want to hold and be held. Let me say it again, possible love. I'm not sure you should. The truth is, if you don't, I won't die of want or lonely, just time. And not now, not even soon, but that's how every story ends eventually.
Here is how one might start. Before. The truth? I'm not a liar, but I close my eyes a lot. Could be love. Before, I let a blade slide itself sharp against me. Look at where I once bloomed red and pulsing, a keloid history.
I have not forgotten the knife, or that I loved it, or what it was like before. My unscarred body visits me in dreams and photographs. Maybe love, I barely recognize it without the armor of its scars.
I am trying to tell the truth. The dreams are how I haunt myself.
Maybe I'm not telling the whole story. I loved someone and now I don't.
I can't promise to leave you unscarred. The truth is, I am a map of every blade I ever held. This is not a dream.
Look at us now, all grit and density. What would be love do you know of knives? Do you think you are a soft thing? I don't. Maybe the truth is both.
Blade and guard. My truth is blade, my hands on the blade, my hands, the blade, my hands carving and recarving every overzealous, fibrous memory.
The truth is, I want to hold your hands because they are like mine, holding a knife by the blade and sharpening it. In your dreams, how much invitation to pierce are you?
Perhaps, love, the truth is, I am afraid. We are both knives, both stones, both scarred. Or we will be. The truth is, I have made fire before.
Stone against stone might be love. I have sharpened this knife before, blade against blade. I have hurt and hungered before, flesh against flesh. I won't make a dull promise.
Each piece this evening highlights different Black women and queer folk as they continue to set the standard for unconditional but honest love. From our predecessors like Phyllis Wheatley to our contemporaries like Evie Shockley, the lineage is rich, the lyricism luscious, the gathering by Black women an abundant praise song to return to. They do not just stand for the status quo, but challenge it, set new standards to bring about an equitable society. They are the blueprint of greatness. What a privilege to see their light shine, that we see their good works and offer them their flowers both this side and beyond the veil. I am elated to continue to share this transonic tour with you. Let us carry on.
Untitled by Attorious Augustine. Let's play a game. Hello, my name is Attorious. By Attorious, I mean my name means venomous. By venomous, I mean broken skin. By Attorious, I mean my sister said my name is stained glass. My name is cauterized by dead languages that do not belong to my parents. By do not belong, I mean erasure. I mean it does not, it will not, it cannot be for me, because someone else has said so. By someone else has said so, I mean there is a man, a white man in a dark room with my dimly lit photo, making decisions on what is permissible with my body. By my body, I mean this vessel. By this vessel, I mean this space I take up. I mean what should belong to me but doesn't because it cannot. By this space I mean how dare you. By this space I mean mine. By mine I mean someone rooted this DNA. These synapses. By synapses I mean misfire. I mean unplanted. I mean kindling. I mean forest fire. Coiled convincing serpent. By mine I mean I live here. I was born here. Raised here. There is no boat to take me back to Africa. By Africa, I mean motherland. By motherland, I mean foreign tongue. By foreign tongue, I mean venomous. By motherland, I mean kin. By kin, I mean blood poured from the broken skin. I mean, my name is Attorious. I mean, let's play a game. What does it mean to be a game? What does it mean to play? What does it mean to be? I mean, how dare you? I mean, how dare you? I mean, the name of this poem is How Dare You. I mean, the name of this poem is Attorious. I mean, the mother of the unborn, breaker of skin, the drawn blood, branded, cauterized. The name of this poem is There Is No Name for Violence, but Violence. This is untitled. This dare to claim joy. This is unapologetic and unabashed joy. By unabashed joy, I mean I love to drive. While it's raining, I love to drive while it's raining on highways through the underpath. Where there's the hiccup, the break in space like broken skin. By space, I mean, how dare I not hold on to peace? I mean, this is mine. By space, I mean I am untitled. By untitled, I mean headline. Or tucked in the obituary, breaking news of not belonging here. I do not belong to suburbia. I do not belong to farmland, not the era of picking cotton. By city, I mean jungle. By jungle, I mean concrete sealed over, I mean mausoleum. By brownstone, I mean plantation cabins. By plantation cabins, I mean, my name is Attorious. I mean, I built this. I built this. I mean, my blood resides in this soil. I mean, my kid knows hard work. By built this, I mean, a people have been destroyed, a land stolen, a sickened birth. What does it mean to be untouched, unbroken, unborn? By stolen, I mean, my name is Attorious. My name is cauterized by undead languages resurrected to pillage my name. I mean, I do not belong here. I mean, wanderlust. I mean, unabashed. By unabashed, I mean joy or rage or what have you. I mean, what does it mean to be a person? I mean, my name is Attorious. I mean, let's play a game. I mean, what does it mean to have a name?
The 19th Amendment and My Mama by Mahogany L. Brown. I always took it for granted, the right to vote, she said. And I knew what my mother meant, her voice constricted tightly by the flu, a virus, and a 30-year relationship with Newport 100s. I ain't no chain smoker, she attempts to silence my concern. Only a pack of weed. That's good, you know? My mother survived a husband she didn't want and an addiction that loved her more than any human need. I sit to write a poem about the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, and my first thought returns to the womb. And those abortions I did not want at first. But alas, the thirst of an almost anything is a gorge, always looking to be until the body is filled with more fibroids than possibility. On the 19th hour of the 4th day in a new decade, I will wake restless from some nightmare about a bomb and a man with no backbone on a golf course who clicks, closed his Motorola phone like an exclamation point against his misogynistic stance he swings the golf club with each chant. Women let me grab, women like me, women vote until I say they don't. In my nightmare, he is an ineffective agent. In the clear of day, he is just the same. Every day, he breathes as a threat to this country's marrow for Ida and Susan and Lucretia and Elizabeth Cady, and every day he tweets grief like a cynical cornball, comics receipts like a red light signaling the end of times. The final night of 2019 and my New Year's Eve plans involves anything that will numb the pain of a world breaking its own heart. My mother and I have already spoken, and her lungs are croaking wet. I just want you to know I don't feel well. And I pause to pull up my stockings beneath my crumpled smile on this day. I sigh. I just wanted to dance and drink and forget about the 61.7% votes. My silk dress falls to my knees with the same swiftness, defiant as the white feminist who said, "I'm your ally," then voted for the demise of our nation's most ignored, underpaid, imprisoned, and impoverished citizens. Every day there is a telephone near. I miss my mother. In the waiting room for the OBGYN, uptown bound on the dirt orange train seat of the subway. Oh, how my mother loves the places she can never go. Her bones swaddled with arthritis and smoke, so she relies on my daily bemoans. The trains smell like yesterday, Ma. They raised the tolls and fixed nothing. For the people, my landlord refuses to fix my toilet, my bathroom sink, my refrigerator. The city is annoying, like an old boyfriend, always buzzing about nothing. And in the way of me making it on time to the polls, this woman didn't say thank you when I held the door. And who does she think she is? Each time I crack and cap on the everydayness of my day, my mother laughs as if she can see the flimsy MTA card, the yellow cabs that refuse to stop for her daughter. In these moments she can live again, a whole-bodied woman with a full mouth. To speak it plain, I ask my mother, what hurts? What hurts? How can I help from here? 3,000 miles away, alone in a tower between the sea and the Mexico border. My mother sighs a little sigh and says, "Nothing. I just wanted to hear your voice."
Elegy for What Could Have Been by Attorious Augustine. On my wedding day, there's a round mirror. Just past it, the picture of my mother and I at the beginning of my days. My mother with burgundy lips and circa 93 Oprah hair, myself a plump 9 months and full of Christmas joy. The baby blue of that snapshot will accent my bouquet. In addition to dancing with my papa, my mother's presence interrupts with, "Follow me," not to be left out past 12. She'll touch my hand and the room erupts in familiar black joy. My mother guides me to the center. We shed tears for Saturday mornings, laundry, and clean kitchen floors. My mother will whisper in my ear that my fried chicken low-key is better, but she dare not admit that to anyone else. She will say, "Cleave unto my partner, love unconditionally, read and pray often." My mother and I sway to our own laughter, big hips, painted lips, and natural hair. Myself round with what now, what if, and what's next. Several months and full of Thanksgivings. The sky a pleasant gift of clearing, picture perfect pearly whites. My mother will say, my father will demand all join in and follow him. Stomp in the new foundation. All notes held in the body redeem the space of its own choosing. A final day full of blessings. On my wedding day, we match deep red violet lips, and my mama reminds me how to cut a rug.
In reflecting on the 19th Amendment and my mama, Mahogany L. Brown wrote the following. When I think about the 19th Amendment, how it is large and almost mythical in its existence, I reach out to my mother and ask her about what she remembers. She says that remembering the stories take her to a place she has long since forgotten, and my poems put her back there, to that negative space. I tell her the best poems invite us to reflect on what we've endured and survived. People like my mother and I are not often celebrated in a poem. I want my mother to understand even her most mundane, dismissed, and nearly forgotten moments are worthy of being written about, memorized, and taught as American history. I am her living archive, and this poem is spilled blood, returning to her warm body. Black women and Black queer women have led social and artistic revolutions throughout history. The 19th Amendment is no exception. Poetry, as a political statement, can appear in myriad forms, from the social critique and archival endeavors in Mahogany Brown's poem to just writing about flowers in a world where one's voice was, quote, never meant to survive, to borrow from Audre Lorde, whose literary legacy influenced many of the poets who are featured tonight. Indeed, as Elizabeth Alexander wrote, poetry is where we find ourselves. It is also where we locate our ancestors and our futures, bred like fresh bread in our children's mouths, borrowing another line from Lorde. The gathering is an opportunity to convene the creative and radical ideas of Black women poets past and present so we can better imagine a future where love and equality exist abundantly. Let's continue the show. The Electric Slide is not a dance, man, by Portia Olayiwola. I want to privy you to a little secret. Come close now. Good. So what you need to know is the electric slide is not a dance. It's a transmission code. What I'm trying to tell you is every time I need to leave here, every time I need to get to a place that feels like my mama's cooking or my brother's cackle booming from soot, I sound the gathering. I bring out the trumpets and horns whenever I need to shake the crypt dust settling in my bones. I turn my stereo up. Just the other day, so-and-so tells me he wants me to teach him the moves. I can't teach style, can't learn blood to pound to a drum pulse so slick it glides, so free it ain't. Can't teach 'em or nobody else who not from where we from what's innate. I mean, man, there's a place I need to get to, a grin I need to spread, a quaking of my foundation ungrounded from laughter. The code's an impenetrable thing. How the slide is suave, how the count off for the take off is the dip low, the count out, the downswing recollects our plot of land on this earth. Picking leg high, a knee raised, a turn to the left is how we know to leave our massacre behind, man. The dance floor is a square padlock you can't crack. Each space we take there is meant for us to occupy. Each brethren is attached to our sides, our fronts, our backs. The pattern is a shield against depression or hunger hanging out of someone's blue eyes. Our bodies arrange a constellation in memory of the boy who was slain with no indictment, for the guillotined girl who went forgotten, for the housing stacked like the gut of the ship, the dogs and the water. The blast off happens in sync, and our spirits rupture ceilings. We ritual, sacred, secret originators of a beat cascading. The electric slide is how we leave here, how we ascend. This kinship is how we get to a place named joy and go home. That's blood. That's history, man. Ain't no teaching that. Thank you so very much for joining us tonight for the second City Versus Jazz and Poetry virtual performance. It's been such a pleasure to have you here, and we hope that you've learned something new and enjoyed the lovely music and the beautiful poetry. Please share this event with your friends. Let us know what you think in the comments, and please follow NJPAC on social media so that you can stay up to date with all the exciting City Versus programming that we have in store for you. With that, thank you for joining us. Be well, stay safe, and have a good night.
Think by Tara Betts. Think about the air invisible as it uncurls a wave of toxins. Think about how its fingertips trace the skin as a baton falls on the flesh merely seconds later. Think about how heavy metals brown the water and we are told to drink. Think about how many of us wonder when the roofs over our heads will be tongues evicted from the languages of home. Think about how every person needs a doctor, but everyone doesn't get one. Think about how savings means nothing to the crazy fine print circumscribed like obsolete glyphs. Think how law books fall open and hopscotch for anyone who keeps writing checks. Think like Aretha Franklin belting, "What you trying to do to me?" Think how the law keeps shuffling the numbers to fit some constant where acknowledging who is human is posited in some philosophy or some mathematical equation that pretends that logic is its function. When blood needs to find something superior, something that denies how human is defined by a much wider net cast by some divine fisherman, or perhaps an African goddess in a gown laced with sea foam, but placed markers for faith are constantly moved toward a crucifix. A human can find more than one path, I hope. Think about how every day someone is hoping for some simple thing like fresh bread, lightly toasted, the ability to walk without pain, a chance to shower, a moment free of fist and jeer, a moment singing victorious as if we could level the wrongs and leave the world upright like a gospel-drenched woman singing freedom. Freedom after forgiveness, after you change your mind, 'cause you need to think and act to be free.